Hello, reception butterflies from Mars. My name is Ryan, and I'm excited to answer your questions that you sent in. I'm also very happy to see the different drawings that you made of yourselves playing on Mars, different sports. I think it's really cool. I saw a couple of basketball and ballet and football, and those were awesome. And I hope that we can share those with other people as well. So I'm going to jump right into the question and answer part, the questions you sent me, and then after that I'm going to show you a couple cool things as well. So if I look down, it's because I'm looking at my computer in front of me so I can read your questions because I want to make sure I get them right. So the first question, let me open that, from Jita, says, I like your writing. It's not a question, but that's thank you so much for enjoying the writing. Maybe one day I will get to read something that you write on the surface of Mars. And I think that'd be really exciting. And then we can kind of look back and go, oh yeah, I remember when we talked to each other like way back then when I was a lot younger. I think that's going to be really cool. So Jack asked, what do you do at the space station? So on our surface station here, it's called the Mars Desert Research Station. We're out in the middle of nowhere. We're in the middle of Utah, actually. And we're simulating a Mars mission. We're doing everything we can to make it as realistic as possible. And so what do we do here? We do a lot of research. We're researching about plants. As you can see behind me, I'm in the green hab right now, where we're learning how to grow a whole bunch of different types of lettuce and vegetables and all the yummy things that you should eat because they're really good for you and they taste good. We actually don't have enough vegetables. We need more vegetables here on Mars. And we need people to learn how to grow them because it's really difficult to grow them on another planet. We don't have the same soil or atmosphere, so we have to make a special building like this one so that way we can put plants in it and grow them for the crews that might live there. So that's one of the things we do. The other types of research I'm doing, I'm looking at spacesuits and how they move, making sure that the astronauts are safe so they can, just say they can't lift their arm all the way up while they're working in the field. I want to make sure that they're able to do that. And I want to make sure that they are working efficiently so they don't run out of breath when they're working hard. I'm also looking at how much dust is getting inside the habitat. If you've gone to the beach and you get all dirty and dusty and you get your toys all dirty and then you come back inside and you've got sand everywhere, it's the same kind of thing. So we don't want the astronauts to bring all that dirt inside the habitat because then it'll get all over their equipment, it'll get their cleaner clothes dirty, it might damage some of the equipment, and we really care about the astronaut safety. So we want to make sure that inside the space station is always clean. I'm doing a few other things related to my research, but we also have a crew astronomer who's been doing research by looking at the sun, which is pretty exciting. We've got an artist here who's doing a whole bunch of creative projects with a 360 video camera, and hopefully one day you'll see those projects too. Our engineer is working on making sure everything works here. We have someone who's a health and safety officer, making sure that we're all healthy and there's no problems with us working out here. And then our executive officer, and she has cool projects too. She's looking at micrometeorites and where they came from and trying to collect them. So it's a lot of fun. The next question is from Faye, and it says, how do you make spacesuits? So spacesuits are really hard to make because the suit has to keep pressure on your body, just like here on Earth, how we're surrounded by our atmosphere. Not only are we breathing in that oxygen, but it's actually the pressure is what we're used to and what we're maintaining. And when you're on the surface of Mars, it's only 1% of the atmosphere. So if you've ever been on an airplane ride and you're way up there in the sky, that's still a pretty heavy percentage of our atmosphere. You would have to go almost to something like 80 kilometers or higher for it to go down to 1%, where it's like Mars. And that's really high up. That's actually at 100 kilometers, that's the international definition of space. So you're pretty much in space at that point. So on Mars, you can kind of imagine there's not a lot of wind. There is little dust devils from the 1% of atmosphere pushing things around, but it's not that much. So your spacesuit needs to make sure that that pressure that you're used to on Earth is basically holding your body together. And it also needs to provide oxygen. It needs to get rid of the carbon dioxide that you breathe out so it doesn't build up, as well as other key functions to make sure you can work. So the next question from Sean is, how do you get air in spacesuits? So that's a great question. So when you see an astronaut, here I've got an an example astronaut here. Let me just make sure I can get it on camera. So here's our little astronaut. Hello. To make sure that astronaut has air, they usually wear a backpack. So you'll see a lot of pictures of the astronauts with a big backpack on them. That's called the portable life support system. There's lots of things inside that, but the most important probably is the oxygen. So they have a big tank of oxygen, and with that tank of oxygen, it slowly, they have like a valve to slowly release it just enough so that it comes into the helmet, and so they can breathe it. And that air that also comes into the helmet is also providing that pressure and that air inside the suit. So it's really cool. It's actually a spacesuit is the world's smallest spacecraft. So if you ever wonder like how small can you get a spacecraft? It's the spacesuit. So hello, is that right? That's right. Okay. So moving right along, I think there's another question here. So I think those were the main questions. So I wanted to just show you a couple cool things. And I'm happy to answer questions for you guys when I get back from my Mars simulation, which will be next week. And we've been here, we'll be here a total of 2 weeks for our Mars simulation. The longest one I've ever done was actually in Canada, in the Arctic. And so your teacher, my cousin Elyssa Kirsch, will show you on a map where I went. It was called Devon Island. So let's see if you can find that on the map. I was there for 4 months, and during the 4 months, I was actually in a 100-day simulation. So it was really long. We had a lot of projects. We worked very hard, and we're very proud of what we accomplished by doing that. We figured out a lot of cool things for future missions. One of them that might be interesting for you guys is how much water we used. On Earth, we actually use a lot of water. We use not necessarily more than we need, but we can conserve it better and learn how to use it better and how to recycle it better, so that way we can reuse that for future drinking water or for watering the plants. That's very important for our future here on Earth. And so one of the things I wanted to share with you is, so my son Rafi, he's 2.5 years old, and you might wonder, how do I communicate to my son while I'm on Mars? And it's very difficult because there's actually a 20-minute delay from the signal to bounce from Earth to Mars and then back again. It's about 10 minutes each way. So the only way we can do it is like this, through video or recordings. But I was also able to bring some of Rafi's toys with me to the desert so that I would remember him and I could play with them and send him photos. So I've got his little Lego Duplo train that we built together. And I actually took it apart and I built it together with big gloves. You might see that video as well. And I brought his Lightning McQueen. He's a big fan of Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow! So that's a lot of fun. And you already met my astronaut friend over here. Hello. And the astronaut also brought along his friend. So these are Rafi's little buddies, the rocket scientist and the astronaut. And they're here with me, helping me with my Mars simulation. So I hope you've enjoyed this little show, and I want to do one last thing. I'm going to unplug all my things, and I'm going to grab the camera, and I'm going to bring it outside so you can see what it looks like right now on Mars. The sun just set, so we should get some pretty cool views outside. I'm sorry the camera's a little shaky. I'm just trying to handle a lot here. So there's the plants again. Hi, plants. You can wave hello to them. Wave hello to the plants, everyone. Okay, let's go look outside real quick. So here's outside. It's now sunset on Mars. This fence here is our special tunnels to keep us safe. So you can see there's the science dome over there, way in the distance, and it's a little blurry, but that's okay. But all these red hills of Mars. So I posted another video that you can check out that shows a full tour of our habitat. And once again, best of luck in all your studies. Make sure you do things that you're passionate about. I hope you like space exploration. I think it's very important for our future and how we learn about other planets. We start learning about right here on Earth, how Earth needs to be helped, and all of those fun things as well. So take care, and I hope to visit Thailand one day. But until then, spacesuit up. Bye.